Hello, I'm Seb Whitehouse reporting from here in Ashton Gate Stadium. Now, it's a pretty gloomy day here in Bristol, but one thing that's not so gloomy is the current form of the Bristol Bears rugby team. Of course, it's only their second season back in the Gallagher Premiership, and yet at this more or less halfway stage of the season, it seems to be that Bristol are one of the teams fighting for one of those cherished places in the Heineken Cup.
I don't think we're overachieving. I think we're exactly where we should be this season. We've got the right squad. We've got the right coaching combination. That's right, yes. I think we're exactly where we should be.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. That's very optimistic. A lot of people have said the same, but then I have asked other people, did you think at the start of the season that Bristol would be in the position they're at now? And a lot of people didn't see it coming, but did you?
I did, yes. Yeah, as you say, I think they invested in one or two what I would call superstar players. Charles Pilatau, I think our £1 million player. I think, as I said, we got some superb players built around academy players. I think we got the right squad to move forward.
I think you've got to believe in them. You've got to believe in the Bears. I mean, we've been known as a boomerang team over the seasons, but we're here to play rugby and we're doing what we need to do. We're top four now. We didn't get there through fluke or by chance. We've done it through playing the rugby that we can play. So let's keep pushing.
I think, given the potential lack of call-ups towards the England squad, I think other teams within the Premiership have seen issues with that and seen that they don't have the sort of depth in team. So Bristol haven't suffered from that and then gained from that. It was seen by the World Cup to start off with, and then possibly being seen now by getting the wins in again. I think teams like Sale as well haven't suffered too badly. I think it's partly what they've done so well, but also they've taken on some good players as well. So it's been a surprising sort of season, but great. Really good to watch.
I mean, they're doing great at the moment. They've got a great squad. They've got some key players, and yeah, I mean, top four finish is obviously what they want to go for, and maybe they could win the Prem. Who knows?
At the start of the season, did you anticipate Bears being fourth at this point?
Yeah, of course we did.
You did?
Thought we'd be first, actually, not fourth.
If we carry on playing the way that we're playing, then absolutely anything's possible. I think with the kind of salary cap breach of Saracens and everything, the entire league is kind of pretty much upside down at the moment. You've got Chiefs who are kind of doing what they usually do. I think, given the new influx of talent that we've had this season, then anything's possible. You've got Nathan Hughes out there, run of his life, good times. He's doing quite well for us. And I think, Bristol is on the upswing. So ever since the takeover, we've had more and more players want to come to us, and we're really one of the rising stars of the Premiership at the moment.
It seems like the club's got a lot of momentum around it at the moment.
Very much so, yes, yeah. I think, as I said, the crowds are building now, so they're seeing success. Not just success, but the way Bristol play their rugby. It's entertaining, it's good stuff.
And it's a big project, obviously, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. It's about a club has to be managed right at every level, and it seems like the Bears are really starting to hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, very much so. I think, like I said, I think the actual owner, obviously, of the club knows his stuff, and it's being filtered down. So, as I said, we've got the right coaching individuals behind the squad itself. So I think he's got it exactly right.
I think it's been a few years building. It's been improvement on improvement, and this could be the first year, and that'd be fantastic that we see it in a long time. So, yeah, I think they've got it in them. As Andrew said, I think the momentum is the key, and if we just keep building and keep pushing through,
with the top four is absolutely wide open. I think there's about 6 points in it if you look at the league at the moment. The fact that the World Cup was on meant that the Premiership started a couple of months later than it usually does. So we're probably looking at what the positions would have been come Christmas in usual years. So any other year, if I'm looking at Bristol being in the position that we are, where we are in the league now, I'm absolutely buzzing.
Because I mean, if someone had said to you before the season started, like around the halfway point, Bears would be pushing for the Heineken Cup spot. Did you predict that would have happened?
not at all really. All I wanted at the start of the season was to beat Bath, and we did that, so that was good. That was a token, you know. So where we are today, I think it gives the fans a belief that we can be top four club, and even further if we push it.
Well, you mentioned Bath, obviously away at Bath next week. Do you think them having some of their international players away at the Six Nations could be a difference maker? Do you think Bristol should be more confident going into that game, or?
Got to be confident, but you can't rely on that, you know. We've got to play the team that's in front of us, and they're going to want to beat us. It's Bristol at their place at the Rec. It's going to be a tough game. So, yeah, they've got some superstars missing, but look, we've got to take the points where we can take them and where it's available.
I don't know, obviously teams do miss key influential players when they're already playing for their country, so they're going to miss out in that respect. But I don't know, I suppose Bristol have got a few players out as well, and Bath obviously have got a few players out, so I imagine it'll be a close game, but be interesting to see what happens.
I think when it comes to the local derbies, such as the Gloucester games and the Bath games, really every team that plays in that really got to want their name on that player sheet. I think absolutely it's a great time for us because we've not got too many players that are out on kind of international tour, really. I think we're talking under 20s. But yeah, certainly if there was ever a time that we could capitalise, it is during the Six Nations. And I think absolutely, I mean, we've beaten Bath before and we can definitely do it again. So good times, really looking forward to it.
I don't even with their England players, I think we will give them a good run for their money. You know, they were there when we played at the beginning of the season. Why shouldn't we beat them this time round?
So, thoughts on the Six Nations?
But like I said, quite a different tournament this year. You know, after the World Cup final and what have you. So quite a different one, but still exciting.
Do you think England was suffering a bit of a hangover from the World Cup at the start of the Six Nations tournament, or do you think that's just an easy excuse to make? What do you think was going on there?
I think it's an easy excuse to make. The thing about it is they're paid professionals. You know, they're professional sportsmen, so they've got to perform. So, which I don't think we have to a degree.
I get the impression, obviously I'm not a massive rugby fan, that the manager, England manager, concentrates more on the World Cup rather than these little tournaments, and builds for the World Cup. From what I've seen, doesn't play his best team, is like trying out players in these. They're not little tournaments to us because obviously we're playing Wales, Scotland, Ireland, all the teams we want to beat. But for him, because he's not from this part of the world, I actually think that he's concentrating on the World Cup and building for that. That's my opinion.
That's a very interesting perspective. I saw you sort of nodding along a little bit there.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, actually. Yeah, you say he sort of looked at maybe as a 4-year stint rather than an immediate tournament to win. So you're building in players, building in for 4 years' time. That's an interesting point.
Awesome. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, he's bringing up all that.
I don't have a lot of knowledge, I've got a little bit of knowledge, yeah.
He's doing my job for me. What are your predictions for the tournament as it pans out?
Well, I mean, obviously France, they're playing very well at the moment. Beat Wales yesterday, won against Italy, which you do think is probably sort of common to happen, and then obviously beat England. So 2 hard tests against Scotland and Ireland, but could be on for the Grand Slam, but who knows?